like I said, as far as I remember, I've suffered from depression. Um, there are days that I wake up and I already feel like I have lost at adulting altogether. Sometimes it sometimes it's just because I haven't been productive that day, but a lot of the times it's just I just don't have the feeling that of getting up. I just don't want to wake up, or I want to wake up, but I just don't want to get out of bed. Um, but I've been working on that recently. I will say in the last year, I've been working on that more extensively, and um, even harder after after my brother passed. But at the time, was I had a job. I was working for a job that I hated. That was bringing me down. Um, so it was hard. It was harder during that time frame. But one of the things that started to snap me out of it, I don't know, snap me out of it. I think that's a bad term. And the reason why I say I think that's a bad term is that I just said it like that was because depression is not just something that you snap out of. Anxiety is not something that you just snap out of. And I despise every single person that tells somebody who's dealing with depression, why don't you just be happy? Why don't you smile? Your day will go so much better. I was watching YouTube one day, and one of the videos that I watched was from a young woman out of Seattle at the time. Her name is Kiri Callaghan. She was explaining how she was dealing with a similar issue that I deal with. Um, Not being able to start or finish a project, or having this feeling that no matter what you do, it will never be good enough. Then Kiri gave it a name. She called it the imposter syndrome. Just knowing what that was, knowing that it had a name, that was one of the first real turning points of my life where I can literally say, from that point on, I started to feel better. Because I started researching what is imposter syndrome, even though she explained it really well. I just wanted more information. And of course, all the information that she gave was all the information that I found on the subject. Now, later on, the information that she gave me in her video was backed up or validated, I would say, in a book called Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk, or Gary V, as most people know him. I had picked up the book because I wanted to improve my business. I wanted to see, because I had been watching, some of his videos and absorbing some of his content. And he kept talking about this book and how his book has helped so many people improve their businesses. So I wanted to try it out and see what it was that everybody was talking about, or at least what he was talking about. Now, not only did I find the information that I needed to improve my business and improve the way I run my business, but I had gotten something out of it that I wasn't expecting. And what I got out of it just echoes. It echoes in my mind, and like a haunted house and a ghost in a haunted house. And it's, stop caring what others think about you. Because that goes back to the imposter syndrome. You're going through the imposter syndrome because you care about what people think in the end. Both good and bad. You also care about how a person feels about you. When you get told day in and day out that you will amount to nothing, when you get told day in and day out that anything that you touch will turn to shit, it's hard. You start believing this, and then you start feeling like you're not good enough, like anything that you do is not good enough. Imposter syndrome. So now I have this 1-2 punch of this information from Gary V and Kiri. And then Gary V follows it up with an uppercut, reminding that the negative thoughts that you have are not your thoughts, or not all of them. Somebody put them there. Somebody conditioned you to feel bad about yourself to the point where you could no longer function. Who knows for what reason? Maybe they just wanted somebody to feel as bad as they did that day, or they were trying in some way to control you. Who knows? But after all that, that was like so powerful to hear those words. What I'm going through, part of my issue is imposter syndrome. Because I'm caring too much about what people think. Which leads to all these negative thoughts after all these years of conditioning. When you hear this, or when I heard this, it rang so true that I had to make a change. I had to say, I don't care what you think about me anymore. Doesn't matter who you are. If you don't like me, move on. You feel that I cannot amount to anything? Move on. I'm not here to be responsible for the image that you created about me. I'm not responsible for that. You have to eliminate the negativity. And that's how I deal with most of the issues that I have when it comes to my depression. If it's not the imposter syndrome, it's something else, but I remove the negativity out of my life, and as soon as I do that, I feel better. I recently lost my full-time job. I was mad about it for 2 seconds. That job was the most negative thing in my life. I complained about it every single day. And the people that I know would sit there and say, "Why don't you change that? Why don't you quit your job?" And for some reason, I just couldn't let go of it. But as soon as it was taken away from me, I felt, like I said, anger for like 2 seconds. Like, how dare you? But then that "how dare you" turned into "thank God I don't have to deal with that anymore." Again, I still have those days when I am not able to get up out of the bed, but they're not as often anymore. And I really wish that I could um, shake Gary Vee's hand, give both Gary Vee and Kiri Callaghan a hug, because if they knew how much their words mean to me, if they knew that they're changing my life, I mean, I don't know what I would do. if I was in their position, you know. But I am so happy. I feel so much happier. Maybe I should smile. But yes, I do feel much happier now that I've gotten rid of a lot of the negativity out of my life. So, if you're dealing with anything like that, lack of motivation or anything like that, try getting rid of as much negativity out of your life as you possibly can. There are some negative people that you probably can't get rid of out of your life because they're family, for example. But you can sure as hell limit your contact with those people to reduce the negativity in your life.